my wife said. "I'm taking a solo trip to find myself." I replied, "You deserve it." Then I found her burner phone. I didn't cancel her trip. I booked myself into the same resort. The look on her face when I sat down at her romantic dinner for two. Original post. I, 36 male, have been married to my wife for 8 years. 2 kids together, 6 and 4. I thought we had a solid marriage. Not perfect, but solid. We'd been through the usual rough patches. Her difficult pregnancy with our second, my job loss 2 years ago, the general exhaustion of raising young children. But we always came back to each other. Or so I believed. 3 weeks ago, she sat me down after the kids went to bed. Had this whole speech prepared about needing to reconnect with herself and how she'd been losing her identity in motherhood. She wanted to take a solo trip. 5 days at an all-inclusive resort. Said her therapist recommended it. "I just need some time alone," she said. "No kids, no responsibilities. Just me, figuring out who I am again." I'll be honest, I was supportive. Genuinely. Being a stay-at-home mom is exhausting. She'd given up her marketing career when our first was born. I understood the need for a break. "You deserve it," I said, and I meant it. She booked the trip that same night. Flights, resort, the whole package. About $3,200 total. I didn't even flinch. We could afford it, and if it helped her mental health, it was worth every penny. The trip was scheduled for this past weekend, Thursday to Monday. She was supposed to leave in 4 days. Then I found the burner phone. It was stupid, really. Our 4-year-old had been playing in our bedroom closet, his favorite hiding spot during hide and seek. He came running out with a phone I'd never seen before. "Daddy, look, Mommy's other phone." My wife was in the shower. I took it from him, told him to go watch cartoons. My hands were shaking as I powered it on. No passcode. Either she was careless or she never expected anyone to find it. The messages told me everything. Hundreds of texts with someone saved as work contact. Except the messages weren't about work. They were explicit, detailed, planning. "Can't wait to finally be alone with you. 5 days of just us. No interruptions. I've been dreaming about this for months." The couple's massage is booked. Then dinner on the beach. Couple's massage. Romantic dinner. This wasn't a solo trip to find herself. This was a planned affair with someone she'd apparently been involved with for at least 6 months based on a message history. The last message, sent that morning. "For more days, baby. Then I'm all yours." I sat on the edge of our bed, staring at that phone, while my wife showered 10 feet away humming some song. The woman I'd built a life with. The mother of my children. Planning a romantic getaway with another man while telling me she needed to find herself. The messages went back 6 months. 6 months of secret conversations while I thought we were building a life together. While I was changing diapers and helping with homework and planning family vacations. She was planning this. There were photos too. Nothing explicit, thankfully, but intimate. Him in what looked like a hotel room. Her in lingerie I'd never seen. Selfies together at restaurants I didn't recognize. Dates she must have had during those late work meetings and girls' nights out over the past months. The betrayal was crushing. But what hit harder was the premeditation. The lies. The burner phone. The therapy excuse. She'd constructed an entire narrative to make me not only accept her leaving, but feel good about supporting it. I had a choice. Confront her immediately and watch her spin more lies. Or play the long game. I chose the long game. I put the phone back exactly where our son found it. Went downstairs. Made dinner. Acted completely normal. That night, after she fell asleep, I went through the burner phone more thoroughly. Found a resort confirmation email forwarded to this phone. Found his flight itinerary. He was flying the same day, different airline. Found the dinner reservation. Romantic beachfront table for 2, Thursday night at 7 p.m. I didn't cancel anything. Didn't confront her. Didn't give any indication that anything was wrong. Instead, I called the resort the next morning while she was at a yoga class, probably meeting him. Booked myself a room. Same resort. Same dates. Different building, but close enough. Then I called my mother. Asked if she could take the kids for an extended weekend. Told her my wife and I were having a surprise romantic getaway. She was thrilled. Said she'd been waiting for us to take time for ourselves. My wife left Thursday morning. I drove her to the airport, kissed her goodbye, told her to have a wonderful trip, watched her walk into the terminal with her suitcase, probably texting him that she was on her way. My flight left 4 hours later. Update 1. I landed Thursday afternoon. Checked in my room around 4 p.m. The resort was beautiful, the kind of place that screams romantic escape. Couples everywhere, palm trees, ocean views, and somewhere in this paradise, my wife was preparing to meet her lover. I spent the first couple hours just decompressing, trying to process what I was about to do. Part of me wanted to just fly home, file for divorce, and never see her face again. But I needed her to know that I knew. I needed to see her face when her carefully constructed fantasy collapsed. I'd done my research. Their dinner reservation was at 7 p.m. at the resort's upscale beachfront restaurant. I called ahead, explained I was a guest, and asked if I could get a table. They were fully booked, but had bar seating available. Perfect. I could see the whole dining area from there. At 6:45, I positioned myself at the bar with a clear sight line to the restaurant entrance and the beachfront tables. Ordered a whiskey. Waited. She arrived at 6:55. I barely recognized her at first. She was wearing a dress I'd never seen. Red, fitted, clearly new. Hair done differently. More makeup than she'd worn in years. She looked beautiful. She looked like she was trying to impress someone. He showed up 2 minutes later. Tall guy, probably late 30s, wearing resort casual like he belonged there. They embraced like they hadn't seen each other in weeks, which, based on the texts, they probably hadn't. The hostess led them to their table. Beachfront, just like the reservation said. Candles. Ocean breeze. The whole scene. I watched them for about 20 minutes, holding hands across the table. Him touching her face. Her laughing at something he said. The intimacy was nauseating. This wasn't a new fling. This was established. Comfortable. They had history. I finished my whiskey, paid my tab, and walked over. She saw me first. The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might pass out. Her hand jerked away from his. "Hey, babe," I said, pulling up a chair from an empty table nearby. "Mind if I join you?" She couldn't speak. Just sat there, mouth open, eyes wide. Her companion looked between us, confused. "Who is this?" "I'm her husband," I said, extending my hand like we were at a business meeting. 8 years married. 2 kids. "Nice to meet you." He didn't shake my hand. Turned to my wife instead. "You told me you were divorced." "Oh, it's complicated," she stammered. "Is it?" I asked. "Because 4 days ago you were telling me about needing to find yourself, about how your therapist recommended. Solo travel. About reconnecting with your identity." I turned to him. "Did she mention any of that? Or did she tell you she was a single mom looking for love?" He stood up, face red. "I'm not doing this. I didn't sign up for this." "Wait." My wife grabbed his arm. "Let me explain." "Explain what?" "That you've been lying to both of us." He pulled away. "I'm done." He walked off. Didn't look back. Left her sitting there in her new red dress, surrounded by romantic candles, with her husband sitting across from her instead of her lover. The other diners were starting to stare. A waiter hovered nearby, unsure whether to intervene. The romantic beach ambience suddenly felt suffocating rather than magical. "How did you?" she whispered. "Our son found your burner phone. Cute hiding spot, by the way. The closet where he plays hide and seek every single day." Her face crumpled. "I can explain." "No," I said calmly. "You really can't. There's no explanation for a burner phone, 6 months of explicit messages, and a fake find myself trip to have a romantic getaway with another man. There's no context that makes this okay. We were having problems. We were having normal marriage problems. Stress, kids, life, not the kind of problems that justify this." I gestured at the table, the candles, the whole setup. "This is premeditated betrayal. You didn't stumble into an affair. You planned it, budgeted for it, lied extensively to make it happen." She started crying. Other diners were starting to notice. "I'm flying home tomorrow," I said, standing up. "When you get back Monday, the kids will be at my mother's. Your clothes and personal items will be boxed in the garage. I've already called a divorce attorney. You can't just..." "I can, and I am." I left cash on the table for the drinks. "Enjoy the rest of your solo trip. Sounds like you'll actually be alone now." I walked away. Didn't look back. Heard her calling my name, but I kept walking. Back in my room, I finally let myself feel it. The anger, the grief, the betrayal. 8 years, 2 children, and she threw it all away for some guy she'd been texting behind my back. I booked an early flight home. Packed my bag. Barely slept. Update 2. I landed Friday afternoon. Went straight to a divorce attorney my college buddy had recommended. She was direct, professional, and very clear about what I was facing. In this state, adultery doesn't significantly impact asset division, she explained. But your documentation, the burner phone messages, the trip planning, the deliberate deception, will help establish a pattern of behavior that could influence custody arrangements. Custody. The word hit me like a truck. I hadn't even thought that far ahead. The idea that I might not see my kids every day made me physically ill. Your best strategy is to remain calm and document everything. Don't engage emotionally with her. Don't make threats. Don't do anything that could be painted as controlling or abusive. In these situations, perception matters as much as reality. I took her advice, went home, started packing my wife's things, methodically, calmly, without destroying anything or leaving any evidence of anger. She started calling Saturday morning. 31 calls that day. I didn't answer a single one. Texts range from apologetic to angry to pleading. Please talk to me. You're overreacting. Think about the children. I made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. You can't just end 8 years over one trip. This is your fault. You ignored me for years. The last one told me everything I needed to know about where her head was at. Already blaming me. Already rewriting history. Already positioning herself as the victim of a bad marriage rather than the architect of its destruction. She even sent a text to our couple friends group chat, the one with 3 other families we've been close with for years, saying she was going through something and needed support, heavily implying I'd done something wrong without actually saying what. 2 of the wives reached out to me privately asking what was going on. I gave them the short version, the burner phone, the planned affair, the fake solo trip. They were horrified. One of them told me later that my wife had tried to recruit them to her side with a completely different story about me being controlling and emotionally unavailable. Sunday afternoon, her mother called. I actually answered this one. What did you do to my daughter? No hello. Just accusation. I discovered she was having an affair. I'm filing for divorce. She told me you followed her on her vacation. You stalked her. That's abusive behavior. I found her burner phone with 6 months of messages to another man. I booked a room at the same resort and confronted her at her romantic dinner for 2. That's not stalking. That's a husband confirming what he already knew. She was unhappy. You drove her to this. Ma'am, with all due respect, I drove her to the airport for her fake solo trip. What she did after that was her choice. She called me several names and hung up. Her sister tried next. Then her best friend. All with the same narrative. I was the villain for following her. For humiliating her. For not fighting for the marriage. Fight for what? A marriage where she maintained a burner phone for secret communications? Where she spent months planning a romantic getaway with another man? Where she looked me in the eyes and lied about needing to find herself? I didn't engage, just repeated the same thing. She had a burner phone. She planned an affair trip. I'm filing for divorce. Update 3. She came home Monday evening. I wasn't there. I'd taken the kids to dinner at my mother's. Wanted to avoid the initial confrontation. She called immediately when she saw the boxes. Where are my things? Where are the kids? What is happening? Your personal belongings are in labeled boxes in the garage. The kids are with my mother until we establish a temporary custody arrangement. I've moved into the guest room. My attorney will be contacting yours this week. You can't keep my children from me. I'm not keeping them from you. I'm establishing a structured transition while we sort this out legally. You'll have access to them. We just need to do this properly. I want them home now. Then hire an attorney and we'll work out the details. I'm not doing this through screaming matches. She hung up. What followed was 2 weeks of escalating chaos. First came the victim narrative. She told everyone who'd listened that I'd abandoned her during a mental health crisis, that she'd gone on the trip for therapeutic reasons and I'd stalk her there to humiliate and control her. That she was scared of me now. Her family bought it completely. Her mother started commenting on my social media posts. I had to block her. Her sister sent me a long email about toxic masculinity and how I was traumatizing the children by tearing the family apart. Never mind that I wasn't the one who purchased a burner phone. Never mind that I wasn't the one booking romantic dinners with someone outside the marriage. The narrative was set. I was the controlling husband who couldn't handle his wife finding happiness. The actual facts, the months of deception, the secret phone, the elaborate cover story, didn't fit their preferred version of events, so they simply ignored them. Second came the financial games. She cleaned out the checking account we used for household expenses. About $4,800. My attorney sent a letter demanding it be returned to a neutral escrow account pending divorce proceedings. She responded through her attorney, claiming it was her money since she'd sacrificed her career for the family. The judge didn't see it that way. Ordered the money returned within 7 days. Third came the custody manipulation. She filed an emergency motion claiming I was emotionally abusive and controlling, and that the children weren't safe with me. She cited my stalking behavior at the resort as evidence of instability. This was the scary part. My attorney had warned me about this. In custody disputes, allegations are taken seriously regardless of evidence. The burden was on me to prove I wasn't a threat. I provided the burner phone records, the text messages, documentation of her planned affair, evidence that I'd simply confirmed what I already knew rather than engaged in any threatening behavior. 3 character witnesses, my mother, my boss, a neighbor, testified to my character and parenting. The judge reviewed everything. His conclusion: the husband's actions, while unconventional, do not constitute stalking or abuse. He discovered evidence of infidelity and confirmed it by attending the same location. There was no threatening behavior, no harassment, no contact prior to the dinner confrontation. The wife's motion for emergency custody modification is denied. Her attorney's face was stone. My wife started crying. Her mother, who'd come for support, muttered something about the system being rigged against women. The custody arrangement that emerged was joint, with primary residence staying with me, since I work from home and she'd need to find employment. She gets the kids every other weekend and 2 evenings a week. Standard arrangement. Fair, given the circumstances. The asset division was harder. 8 years of marriage meant splitting a lot. House equity, retirement accounts, vehicles. She wanted the house. I wanted the house. Neither of us could afford to buy out the other, so it's being sold. We're splitting the proceeds 50-50ths. She's also getting spousal support for 2 years, rehabilitative alimony, while she re-enters the workforce. My attorney fought this hard, arguing that someone who could plan a $3,200 affair trip didn't need financial rehabilitation. But the judge noted her years out of the workforce and awarded support anyway. $1,400 a month. Does it sting? Absolutely. I'm paying support to a woman who cheated on me. But that's how the law works. Her affair doesn't negate her contribution to the marriage or her need to transition back to employment. My attorney explained that fighting the support order would cost more in legal fees than I'd save, and the judge was unlikely to deny it regardless of circumstances. The law treats marriage as an economic partnership, and her years of staying home with the kids counted as contribution even if she spent the last 6 months of it planning an affair. The other guy, by the way, completely disappeared. From what I could piece together through the burner phone messages I'd saved, he believed her story about being divorced. When he realized she'd lied to him too, he wanted nothing to do with the situation. Block her everywhere. Probably worried about being named in proceedings. She tried to reach out to him for weeks. The few messages I saw before she changed her number were desperate, apologizing, explaining, begging for another chance. He never responded, so she lost both of us. The divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago. Took about 4 months total, which my attorney said was fast for a contested case with kids. I'm in an apartment now. 2 bedrooms, 1 for me, 1 set up for the kids when they stay over. It's smaller than what we had, but it's mine. No ghosts of a broken marriage in every room. The kids are adjusting. The 6-year-old has questions I don't always know how to answer. Why doesn't mommy live with us anymore? Did mommy do something bad? I keep it simple. Sometimes grown-ups can't live together anymore, but we both love you very much. It's not enough, but it's all I've got. My ex-wife moved in with her mother temporarily. Found a job in marketing about a month ago, entry-level, significant pay cut from where she was 8 years ago, but it's something. She's struggling with the adjustment. Every time she picks up the kids, she looks more tired, more bitter. The fantasy life she'd been building in her head, leaving the boring husband, running off with the exciting new guy, starting fresh, didn't quite work out the way she planned. From what I've heard, she spent the first month after the divorce convinced he'd come back. That once the drama died down, they'd reconnect. She'd tell her mother about how he just needed space and how they had something real. The reality that he'd blocked her everywhere and clearly wanted nothing to do with a woman who'd proven herself capable of elaborate deception apparently took a while to sink in. She still maintains I'm the villain. According to mutual friends who haven't picked sides, she tells everyone I destroyed the family because I couldn't forgive one mistake. The burner phone, the 6 months of planning, the elaborate lies, all reduced to one mistake. Her family doesn't speak to me. My family thinks I handled it better than they would have. My mother told me she would have confronted her at the airport and caused a scene. At least you waited until dinner, she said. Do I regret showing up at that resort? Sometimes I wonder if I should have just filed for divorce quietly, avoided the confrontation, taken a high road. But here's the thing. She needed to know that I knew. She needed to experience, even for a moment, the collapse of her carefully constructed fantasy. She'd spent months lying to my face, building this elaborate deception, probably feeling clever about pulling it off. And then it all fell apart over a beachfront dinner because she didn't think to password protect her burner phone. The look on her face when I sat down at that table, I'll never forget it. The realization that her secret life wasn't secret anymore. That her husband hadn't been obliviously supporting her self-discovery journey, but had been sitting at the bar watching her hold hands with another man. That moment was worth the cost of the flight. I'm not happy. I'm not healed. 8 years of marriage, 2 kids, a life I thought I'd have forever. All of it gone because she wanted something else and didn't have the decency to tell me. But I'm okay. I'm surviving. I'm being the best father I can be to 2 kids who didn't ask for any of this. And I'm never, ever ignoring a burner phone again.